we're going to call the meeting to order. 6 o'clock, we do have a quorum. To confirm, to verbally confirm, we have Matt Lowry, Charlie Trotsky, Maureen Hickey, Mike McLean, and Gail Siebert as voting members. We also have Sam and Steve with us.
And can everybody hear us in TV land? Perfect. Great.
Okay, so I did 1 and 2. Okay, well, what we were hoping to do at this meeting is to ratify the discussion that we had at the last meeting related to the use of the ARPA funds, the $200,000 ARPA funds. I guess it would be $200,000 less $15,000 that we paid for that thing, the end thing that has too many letters in it. It's hard to say. Sam had sent out, she has pulled together a rental deposit assistance program outline.
Hello.
And the rental deposit assistance application to review what the idea of this program is to assist individuals, families that want to move into Wakefield, that their collective income is 80% or less of AMI, based on the state and federal regulations for that. The grant would be up to $5,000, and it would be used to pay for the rental deposit, security deposit, or moving expenses, with the payments going directly to the landlord, utilities / moving company. So the funds would not go directly into the hands of the individual. The eligible households have to be able to find living arrangements in Wakefield within 90 days of the approval of the grant, unless there's no wait list, and then we can extend that. The lease is to be for 1 year, at a minimum 1 year. Are there any other things any other discussions, anything we want to talk about? I think that Matt, Charlie, Maureen were at the last meeting where this was talked about. So I know that Bill and Paula were missing.
Sarah has also joined us.
Oh, hi, Sarah.
Good evening.
Yeah, her camera's off, but she's there.
Okay. So any discussion related to the use of these funds? Yes, Marie.
I just have some questions about the application and the program description. Excellent job. I love them, but seeing stuff like this every day just brought me a few questions. So I wanted to ask you, Sam, where you say that the income of all adult members, but then on the application page, if like a child is getting Social Security or some other kind of benefit like that, it does count for all of our HUD programs as part of the family income. So I just didn't know if that was a little misleading where it says that in the description. I don't know.
Sure, I can amend that if the trust.
It's just as some feedback. Like, I just think it says,
sure,
yeah, someone's going to say to you, well, my kid's Social Security doesn't count. And if you want it to count, it should be in both places. The other question I had is there's a sentence about if they don't fulfill the terms of their lease, that the landlord will pay back the town. I don't know how you go about that.
Yeah, so
That
actually
happens.
it should have said the remainder, any remaining funds shall go back to the town versus going back. I just left that.
That we haven't issued.
out. Right.
issued.
So
Okay,
if there,
okay.
let's say it was, I don't know, $3,000 for the security deposit, and then the repair was, I don't know, $1,000. So then the 2,000 remaining would come back to us. When I sent it to the town attorney, Mr. Mullen, he pointed that out to me and said, we just need to finish the sentence. So I worked that out with him. It was something I was actually going to bring up farther down the line, but yes, it will say the remaining funds of the security deposit or whatnot. any remaining funds after remedied. I forgot the exact wording of it, but yeah,
Okay.
that part's been addressed.
Okay, I'm sorry, I have like 5 questions, but that shows I read it.
Oh, that's great.
So who does the HQS? Is the Board of Health gonna do that?
That was another question. It is outlined in a number of different programs, and I didn't know how, if the trust wants to include that. I went ahead and threw it in there because it was in a number of other applications. But that is one question that is outstanding, is if it wants to be, if the trust wants to have it included, and if they do, then who would you recommend deferring that to?
I think it's an excellent idea, and I do think if we're gonna spend federal funds, that HQS, which is an inspection of the unit, I think it's important. It should happen. I know who does it. I do think the Board of Health can do things like that as well. And 2 more things, Sam. On the application itself, it lists like proof of disability. I'm just curious if do we need that?
So that's up to
For this
you.
purpose, do we need that?
Maybe I will defer to the trust. This is again an application that I had kind of pulled information from various places. If you don't feel like there's a benefit to it, feel free to amend as needed. Or if it needs to be clarified, like, I don't know, noted disability income or something like that, Social Security disability, if that's related, just clarify, and I'm happy to amend.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're gonna help everybody, right? We haven't narrowed it down to like elderly or disabled or it's anybody that qualifies income wise. So I just think maybe that we don't need to say that. And the other, just one little feedback, you mentioned this, if they have a Section 8 voucher or ever had one, I don't know if you want to put the formal name of the program there. I know everyone knows it as Section 8, but it's really
Sure,
the
absolutely.
Choice Voucher Program. Again, that's not a big deal.
Yeah, what is the full name? Do you know?
It's the Housing Choice Voucher Program, HCVP, but it is most people know it by Section 8, so I was glad to see that you called it that, but
Okay.
someone
I'll
might
refer
get caught up.
I'll refer to it as both, kind of like how in our elsewhere you have the name and then maybe
In parentheses or something,
yeah,
just
that
to
kind of thing,
cover
something like
that.
that.
I mean, somebody might know the actual real name of it.
Sure.
That's all, that's all my feedback. Thank you.
Anybody else? Any comments? Yeah,
Yeah.
I was gonna say, thanks, Maureen. I don't look at it in the same light that you do, so that was good feedback. Is there anybody in this meeting that has a problem with the changes that Maureen has suggested?
No, I don't. I just wanted to say I'm thankful that Maureen is here that she has looked at these before and read through it. So I appreciate that. I looked through it, but not knowing what I don't know, it looked fine to me. So again, thank you, Maureen.
The only question I had more is really for Maureen. What is the HQS? Is that some kind of a?
That's a housing quality,
inspection?
yeah, housing quality standard. And we do those for all of our Section 8, we do them annually, and before they move into a unit, we have to have that. It has to pass before someone moves in. So I like the tie-in, to HUD, and I do think that's a good idea.
Do you have an opinion as to, or maybe the town administrator does, maybe not, as to who would be tasked with that?
We hire a company, the Housing Authority, to do that for us. But I do think that I've seen state language before that local boards of health can do inspections. We have a DMH rental assistance program that actually the language says the local board of health. Not that we do that, but it does say that. So I would think that they're qualified to do that. Whether or not they have the time to do it is a whole nother story.
We do quite a few, Board of Health does quite a few housing inspections at the request of tenants. So they're well versed. So I think that's a good spot for it. And it's part of our budget, right? Part of our regular budget, not using these funds.
Great. Thank you.
Okay, once again, does anybody have any comments or opposed to any of the recommendations by Maureen? Okay, so let's assume that the document will be updated. Sam will update it based on Maureen's suggestions, which is great. What I'd like to do at this point, help me with this protocol, is to vote on actually putting this into place. Using these ARPA funds for this rental assisted program and getting it started with putting it on our website and letting the M, we gotta get some kind of acronym, and that acronym is just too much. It's way too much. We gotta like give it a nickname or something. The M company, that is.
Oh, Metro North Regional Housing Services Office.
Yeah, it's too long. It's way too long. Anyway, to get them involved too with this, does anybody have any more discussions? Before we take a vote?
Do we want to, my only thought on the vote is like a launch date. Do we want to pick a date that we're gonna, so Sam can prepare and a discussion can be had with the Board of Health?
And one, sound good?
Matter,
And
like
one?
that we
October
started.
1, that's a
October.
good point, October 1. Yep.
Okay, so 10/1 launch. Okay, okay, with the 10/1 launch, once again, the changes that Marina suggested. All those in favor of using the ARPA funds for rental deposit assistant program for Wakefield? say-
Gail, actually, you need to do a roll call vote.
Oh, what's
Sorry.
that mean?
You got to call each person, yeah.
Okay,
Motion in a second.
Yeah, motion in a second,
Okay, sorry.
yeah.
okay, getting there.
You are.
Okay, I'm just gonna go in order that I have people listed here. Matt,
Yes,
Do we get the motion in a second?
oh, I'm
I
sorry.
don't think we got the motion first.
I'll make that
Uh,
motion.
Okay.
and I'll second it with Maureen's edits.
Okay, so Matt say yes, Charlie,
Yes.
Maureen,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Paula,
Yes.
me, I'm a yes. Bill showed up.
I'm sorry about that. I'll pass on it because I didn't hear the motion.
Okay, well, 1, 2, 3, 4,
You're fine.
5, 6,
You're good.
7,
One
7. I
abstention.
think the motion is passed and we are going to be using these funds for this rental assistant program.
Excellent.
Yay, something got accomplished. Always a good time. All right, next up on the agenda is the housing production plan update. I'm going to hand this over to Samantha to give us that.
Yeah, I don't have a ton to update at this particular meeting. So we'll have to I would love to continue it to the next one. The biggest thing is that there was the advisory committee was chosen. They have had their kickoff meeting and we are getting the ball rolling on the housing needs assessment. As I get more information out of the consultant and we have the next meeting, I will be continuing to update. I would appreciate if we can keep this on the agenda if the chair is comfortable with that.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Okay.
That's all from me.
Okay, item number 5 is the foreclosure update on Heron Pond.
Yes, I can take that one.
Okay.
So I remembered back to my attorney's days and how much I hated foreclosing attorneys. So, but I did speak with, at length with the attorney representing Eastern Bank, and there is a first mortgage to Eastern Bank. This is on a unit of Heron Pond. How it gets to this point, I don't know. Because it seems to me that the owner, maybe there was a sickness or something, could sell it and probably make more, what have you, but didn't go to that. But in any event, there is a first mortgage to Eastern. There is a second mortgage to Eastern on this particular property. There is a third mortgage to Mass Housing. There is a lien on it from the Condo Fee Association and a lien on this particular unit from a company called Charter One. I think that's probably some sort of a hard money personal lender that got some sort of lien on it. My feeling is this, is that as we probably will get, depending what happens, and when the property goes to a foreclosure sale, it'll wipe out all the secondary liens. And we, the town, or the housing trust in this case, will get the difference between what the sales price would be set now as an affordable, now by the state, we would get the difference of that over the existing price that the existing, when it came into effect with us. We'll get over what the price is now from the state, what it goes for. I think we're going to get between $22,000 and $25,000 on this, but that number goes down every day because interest ticks on every loan every day, assuming we get people that.
So what you're saying though is that we're not able. to
No, what I'm
keep this
saying
as
is
being affordable.
I think that this will not maintain its affordability, more than likely. I think we are not equipped, and that we, I mean the town, my office, equipped to go to foreclosure sales. You got to put down a cash amount, you've got to, we're just not equipped to do this and to bid against developers on it. So I think that these are few and far between. It would be better if we could maybe go through our list and see who the owners are and say, hey, if you get in trouble, maybe we can work with you to keep this affordable or work with the state on those issues ahead of time. But that's not always going to happen because the lenders aren't going to contact us, number one. And number two, in a lot of instances, these owners, they're not very accessible. They're not going to talk to you at all because they're hiding from people, having been on the other end of this. So these are few and far between now. They happened a lot years ago. I just think that we're not equipped to go and bid at a foreclosure sale. So that's my bottom line there. The attorney was very nice, got back to me after like 3 or 4 calls that he talked to his client. I had to chase him. It just didn't, it's just not in their best interest to really do anything for us. So that's my story and I'm sticking to it.
Okay.
You agree, Mike? Mike and I had a little talk as old
Well,
attorneys.
I just think the degree of difficulty of the dive is very great. When we're a housing trust, affordable housing trust, showing up, you got to put a $5,000 down, you got to bid against the tool belt people that are sitting
Yeah.
there, and then you have to iron out all these liens and everything else. I mean, if I was to think of this trust buying a property, it would be so much neater if we happened to find a property that was just, lower end for sale. It would be so much simpler than trying to do a foreclosure workout. I think I agree with Steve on that. One question I have for you, Steve, though, is you said EOHLC is indicated will help you try to keep a unit affordable. Do they actually?
Well,
Do they do anything in that
No,
regard?
I think they don't really understand the fact that, yeah, we'll work with you as much as we can, but it's not like we can go to the bank and say, listen, sell us the property for the affordable amount, okay? And then we'll find you something, because that, we would be subject to all those other liens that are after us.
Yeah, it's best.
It's messy. It's really messy. So I don't think she really understood at the EOHLC and kind of like, well, geez, no one ever has really asked us that before. So I think it is too deep a dive. If we had a development office, maybe we would, and then maybe turn it over, but we don't have that yet. So, and it takes a lot of time for these people to get back to because they really don't care. But they do help us. What EOHLC does help us do is they do indicate, hey, you should be getting this amount of money on it. So they do kind of help, and it pays a little bit of, it's heated a little bit by the lenders, but not, depends who they have. So that's, sorry, I would love to say that we could keep it, but I think we can probably parlay that 25,000 into something better in the future.
Steve, can I ask you a
Okay.
question?
Sure. Matt, is that you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we have this type of exposure on many other units in town?
On which ones? I couldn't hear you.
On any, basically any unit, if people take out multiple mortgages on it?
Well, no, we should be able to still get our money in there, but the problem is that these lenders don't, there is a deed rider that is recorded with each sale that says this is an affordable unit. So yeah, they should, we should be able to get our money, all right? But that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be sold, that it's going to be kept affordable,
Okay,
you know? So that's why we get our money, I guess.
yeah, I think
Yeah.
the town getting a little bit of money is not as much as getting rid of an affordable unit. So
Yeah.
I'm just trying to see if there's a way that this can be prevented in the future
Yeah.
or
Well,
some steps put in place.
Yeah, I will say when a affordable unit gets put to market, we have been getting notices from the EOHLC because they seem to, once if they can't sell it on their own to an affordable, and I don't understand why, because it seems to me there's so many people that want to buy affordable, maybe that they're not paying attention. The EOHLC has one guy who seems to handle all of them from a realtor perspective, so to speak. And he does contact us and we can try to spread that around to help keep it affordable. But there are times that no one wants to buy it. That is a better deal for us, I think. If we find one that's clean and there's no issues, that it hasn't been affordable, maybe we buy it at a real sale, right? And then maybe we can flip it ourselves and get the money back. But it is difficult in some of these, and particularly these hard money lenders, Matt, they don't even read the deed rider. They don't care,
Yeah.
It's
All right,
it's
thank you.
amazing to me. Having been on that end of the years ago, I don't understand.
So what you're saying is if somebody were to sell their unit, not a foreclosure, but they just
Right.
want to sell it, they
Right.
have to keep it affordable.
They have to keep it affordable,
Okay.
yeah. But if they can't, then that's when the money comes back to us.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But I think that's where we can step in. It's a nice sale, right? Is that we can
Right.
make a nice sale. We may see a house that's not affordable and find it and make it affordable too.
It
think
may
that's a
also be
better
some,
thing.
oh, I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, that may be something that the Metro North Regional Housing Services Office can help us with finding ways to potentially advertise some of these, or be a resource. I believe Gilly had mentioned this earlier, but it's kind of a hard, there's no great central location for the affordable units, and that may be something that they can help us with, at least preventing on that end, as much as possible in the future. I'm happy to reach out and see if that is something that could be offered or is offered as part of that organization.
No, that's great. As I said, I think that I think that they're going to be beneficial to us, at least, for 1 year to see what they can do. But if they can help centralize some of this information, that would be great. Okay, the next is the approval of the minutes. And I'm going to send out the minutes from the August 14th meeting. Does anybody have any comments?
I'll make the motion, Gail, if you want. I'll make the motion to approve the August 14th, 2024 minutes.
Second.
Everybody in favor?
Aye.
I would do a roll call too.
Oh, roll call?
Yeah.
Okay, Matt,
Yes,
Charlie,
Yes.
Maureen,
Yes,
Sarah,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Bill,
Abstain, I wasn't at the meeting.
Paula. How'd you vote?
I'll abstain as well. I wasn't there.
And me, and I wasn't, so yes. Okay, so it's, the meetings have passed approval. Item 7, any other comments? General comments? That's like it's open for. Any other comments? Anybody? All right, this will be a good meeting. Next meeting date? I guess, let me ask you guys this, so now we got one thing done, which is really good because we needed to get it done before the end of the year, even though we had an MOU in place. We can get this started and get this moving for the town. The next thing is, what are we going to do with the rest of the money? Now, there's no pressing need to spend it. I'm not sure where this fits in, as I said, with the housing production plan. So I don't necessarily want to have a meeting like before, I guess, the housing production plan meeting is going to happen, because I think that my opinion is where we think we're gonna go is gonna come out of some of those discussions. Does that make sense? Like, I don't want to just have a meeting in a month just to have a meeting if we're not gonna really accomplish much.
I think it makes sense, but I don't know that will stop us from or will overly guide us to the point where we can't decide what we're gonna do next.
Okay,
You know, that's just my own opinion. We could, I don't want to have a meeting if people want to, you know, have a meeting a little less frequently, you know, until we get some of those reports on the rental assistance maybe starting to happen and coming through, you know, no problem with that. No problem with extending it.
what if other people think? I don't have any hard and fast opinion. I just don't want to bring us together to bring us together. I mean, it's great, but.
I'm just wondering if there's gonna be any issues with the rental assistance program that we need to address, or if we don't think there'll be any issues, is it just easier to have something on the books, and then if we don't need it, we can cancel it a week before? Because if we look at a month out, we could be getting applications for the rental assistance.
Okay, good point. Good
Yeah,
point.
and that's what I would have wanted to point out is that it, as we had discussed earlier with the deposit assistance program, Mr. Mayo had suggested that we do a monthly update to the trust, especially as it's just getting started, on how it's going, how many applications, an update on the money. And that may be helpful to have at the end of October, just to kind of recap how that first month is going. Again, up to you, but that's what I would recommend considering.
Okay, so the next meeting, the next housing meeting is on the 7th, right? I have it on my calendar, it's the 7th. So anytime after, in October, after the 7th, does anybody have any, we want to keep it on? I don't know anybody's schedules with meetings.
Hold on, are you talking about the housing production plan?
Yeah, don't you,
That may
isn't there a
have to be-
meeting or something?
That
on
is
this?
the 7th is actually, I believe, the night of town council.
Right.
So that may have to
Oh.
be moved
Oh,
to the following week or the week after. I'm not sure. I just talked to the consultant about it. He realized that there was an overlap. Or someone from the consultant's office. So it, like I said, it might be better to have it later in the month,
Okay,
towards
so
the
like
end
the
of the
last
month.
week of October?
Like the 28th, Monday, the 28th?
Monday, the 28th is the tri-board meeting.
Oh, well, I guess you can't make it then.
Sorry.
I thought you guys, when she said you guys met on the 7th, I thought, oh, you'll meet on the 21st, but,
Yeah, the tri-board is another meeting because
oh, okay.
they love meetings.
I prefer early November because I do have some stuff going on at the end of the month.
Okay, early November, so that would be 4, 5, 6, 7. Anybody got any? I can usually make stuff work, so.
I would suggest the 6th for that week, only because the 4th is a town council meeting. The 5th is election day, and we try not to have any meetings on election day.
6th?
6th is the Wednesday, which seems to be what's been working.
Okay,
Fine for Sarah. Yep.
Okay, let's pencil it in for the 6th. We'll get agenda together. Basically, what I think the agenda is going to be, Sam, is to go over the housing production plan, update the minutes from this meeting. And if we come up with something else related to the Metro North entity that's helping us that we can maybe share with people. Okay. All right. So next meeting date, what did we just say? 11/6. Okay. Anything else? Can we move to adjourn?
So moved.
Anybody second?
Second.
All right. Meeting adjourned. Thank you for showing up.
Thank you, everybody.